Good morning, this is Kim Hammer with your devotion, taking it from the book of Ruth, chapter 2, beginning with verse 7. So far, we have found that Ruth is an individual that is a hard worker. She is someone that Boaz has taken an eye to, and he has not done anything inappropriate, even though he had the authority that he could have done whatever he wanted to, and nobody would have called his actions into question. But yet Boaz had a personal relationship with the Lord, and we find that he utilized that personal relationship with the Lord to make sure that he didn't do anything inappropriate with regards to his relationship with Ruth. We find that as he goes on and he identifies that she's a hard worker, he also had an eye that he wanted to protect her. In fact, he said, "You stay with my girls and you don't get in the other fields." Part of that was because her mother-in-law later pointed out that if she'd gotten into the other fields, that possibly some physical harm might have come to her by the other workers. So Boaz was making sure to protect her from the harm of others. He also found her pleasing to look upon, which is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But he found that she was attractive to him. The other thing, though, that probably stands out above anything is what's found in verse 11. For it says, Boaz replied, "I've been told about what you have done with your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and homeland and came to live with a people you did not know." One of the things that he found interesting, or he found attractive about Ruth, was the fact that she could have went back home to her mother and her father and back to her old ways, but instead she decided to stay with Ruth and develop a new set of ways that was developed and wrapped around an appreciation for who God was. She had grown up experiencing what it was like to worship other gods and see what other gods couldn't do for them, but now she'd experienced what it was like to serve a God who could do things for you, to take care of you, to love you, to protect you, to provide to your needs, and to bring together two families that were from two different walks of life, but yet because of love for one common God, were able to come together and to glorify the Lord. She had experienced and tasted what it was like to serve the Almighty God. And she did not want to go back. As much as she may have loved her mom and dad, she had made that decision to fulfill her commitment to Ruth, that no matter where she went, she would go, and her gods would be her gods, and her people would be her people. And now Ruth was playing that out right in front of everybody's eyes, including the eyes of Boaz. He gave her more than enough to eat at his table. He also warned the men to stay away from her and to make sure that she had plenty and that she was protected. Now, this man, Boaz, was her kinsman redeemer. A kinsman redeemer was part of a family circle that got other family members out of trouble. The example of Boaz being a kinsman redeemer for Naomi and also for Ruth is an example of what Christ is doing for us, being our kinsman redeemer. The Bible tells us in Psalm 120:1, "In my distress I called to the Lord and he answered me." And in Psalm 34:4 it says, "I sought the Lord and he answered me and he delivered me from all of my fears." One of the things that we know, or some of the things we know about Ruth and her relationship to Boaz as her kinsman redeemer, is that she was comfortable with her identity, that she was able to adjust to the environment that she was now living in, that she was not going to be in a compromising situation where she had to trade away her values for anything that would sustain her life, that she had an appreciative heart in that she thanked God for the position that she had been allowed to be put in, and that she had the hand of God on her. All of this because she was a woman who sought God, and God rewarded her. If we will think about it, Christ is our kinsman redeemer. He is the one who has come to redeem us in our time of trouble, and we should express to him all the appreciation that Ruth was expressing to God in her time of need as well.